All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm getting a lot of emails in my inbox, and people are sending communication to me various ways. And, of course, they're asking for direction. You know, since the elections are over, we know who's in office now, and what should be our mindset as far as moving forward. Now, first, let me say this. I'm not a financial advisor, and neither am I an advisor as far as charting people's course in life. The information that I provide for you, I'm telling you things that I do, but it's solely your choice. I mean, you can make your own decisions, but I will tell you what I would do and the things that I do. The one thing that we all need to understand is that the fundamentals, whether it be political, social, economic, including religious, they all remain the same. And since we're talking right now on the economic front, the fundamentals is still the same. They have no solution. Our country has no solution whatsoever at all in sight. It's not even in the crosshairs of what to do about balancing this budget, except this. It seems like every single time that they find themselves in session, all the speech and all the talk is all about expanding the national debt. And of course, what it's doing is kicking the proverbial can down the road. And I'm trying my best to get people to see and understand that just knowing the fundamentals of economics, money in general, you can't continue to keep having all these dollars chasing the same amount of so-called quote-unquote goods and services and not expect for it to come and bite you. We have a national deficit in this country, and I hope that you're listening to me. I'm going to cut right through the rhetoric. Listen to me. That cannot be paid back, and it will not be paid back, and it will never be balanced. They have to default. Do you understand what I mean? And that's what the system is going to do. Now, once you understand that, now maybe you can prepare yourself. Maybe you can do what a lot of us have done, which is invest in real money, sound money, money that's tangible. The same thing that was written down in the Constitution, silver and gold. And once you can get that in your head and realize that silver and gold has been money for 6,000 years, and we've all been duped and deceived and functioning in this paper fiat currency Ponzi scheme. And these people, they don't have any wealth. Their system is what provides them wealth. And they have an illusion of wealth. And in this illusion of wealth, these people can just play the markets, the paper game, and look like that they have a lot of money, but they do not have any assets unless they own land. And if you notice, the Most High is not making any more of that. So if you can purchase land, that's probably the greatest asset that you could have. And then if you can trade trash, fiat currency for sound money, real, true, tangible assets, real money, silver, you're an intelligent person. You're an intelligent man and woman because you understand what money is. You know, it's amazing. 10, 12 years ago, silver was $4 an ounce. Now we're 10, 12 years later, and it's averaging, hovering around $30 an ounce. It got close to $50 again, but then they slammed the markets down. They slammed it down, but they're not going to continue to keep up with this Ponzi scheme. I'm telling you. And I talk about silver. I talk about gold. I talk about money simply because your churches and other people don't. Because if somebody doesn't get out here and speak in a way to stimulate thought, your conscience and your mind will not function out there. You won't even think. You just won't even begin go in that direction unless somebody puts a defibrillator on our mind and constantly keeps us to the grindstone to think the right way. And that's why I provide information about self-sufficiency, preparedness, coming out, getting yourself ready, changing your mind so you can prepare, because again, we are way past the stages that the Great Depression was. And the only reason why we're not experiencing this pain is because they have a printing press to continue to keep kicking the can down the road. And as long as they put that illusion and keep that illusion in front of your face, you're not going to know how grave the situation is. And when I say bad, I mean really bad. We already being taxed half to death. We, in this country, you have what you call selected politicians, not elected by the people. They have all been selected. And none of us have any representation. We are being taxed without any representation, voices for us, the people, whatsoever at all. And inflation is nothing more than another tax. That's all there is to it. When they come up with these programs, they're taxing you half to death. So if you want to get free of this system, you have to change your mind. Your whole paradigm, the way you view things and look at things, everything has to be wiped clean, and you've got to start anew, because they're not going to be, hey, they're going to cut out all the government handouts one day. You look at these disasters, these so-called quote-unquote natural disasters, and you watch and see how the government responds to the people. And if you notice, none of this money ever trickles down to the people. These so-called politicians and these so-called authorities that are lined up under the guise of the government, they use this money to fund their own programs and line their own pockets, and they don't care. And insurance, I mean housing insurance, car insurance, every kind of insurance you can imagine across the world. Now they're starting to gag the people half to death with telling, well, you can have homeowner insurance, but we're not going to cover you for a hurricane. We're not going to cover you for a natural disaster. We're not going to cover you for a fire. We're not going to cover you if your house falls down. Why even have insurance then? And even if you do have insurance, if you own a home, you won't even get back 60% of the value of your home with the way that these bootlickers and these jackleg dogs have positioned themselves by the so-called laws of the land. You got to stop playing the game. That's what you have to do. You got to start thinking outside of the box. And you can't do that as long as you continue to stay in front of that one-eyed monster. It won't happen. You can't do that if you continue to keep going to these churches who is going to continue to keep perpetuating the lie in your mind. You cannot do this. You must change the way that you think. I can't say that enough. I said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. What are you going to do when civil unrest takes place and you're still stuck in the cities? I mean, that's my question. What are you going to do? Because some of you live in environments where it is illegal for you to have a gun. That is insane. That is chaotically, psychotically insane. How are you going to defend yourself? Whew. Anyway, my advice, what I do is, since I know that the fundamentals are going to remain the same and nothing's going to change, makes it no difference if it was Mitt Romney or Barack Hussein Obama in office, we're going to still see this system go forward with its policies that they implemented. There's not going to be any lasting change. Things are going to go from bad to worse. And I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being optimistic. You know the reason why? Because the information that I'm sharing and I'm giving with you, at least you have an opportunity and a gateway to be able to prepare yourself for this upcoming economic collapse. That it's already collapsed, but they just propping it up and keeping it afloat. We're not even on life support no more. They have pulled the plug, and we're making shallow breaths before the death of this economy comes. I hope that you have ears to hear. I really, truly do. I hope you have ears to hear. You're going to need silver and gold. And the reason why you're going to need silver and gold, because the Bible tells you that there's going to be a medium of exchange all the way up until the coming of the Most High, which some of you don't believe in. And you have that right and you have that prerogative to not believe that. You exist as a human being. You have choices you make. I'm not going to make you my enemy because you don't choose the same thing that I do. That's just all there's to it. But it is my job as a pastor to come up here and warn the people, as a watchman, and to give you warning, especially when I see the sword coming up on the land, and to warn you to turn from ways that are wicked, that is, have been acceptable in this society, in our sight. we've got to change. We've got to change. I hope that you continue to keep listening, and I hope that I've said something here this morning to stimulate your mind. I really, truly do. Work on your health. Start eating good food. You're going to need a strong immune system for what we're getting ready to face. You really, truly do. Consider what I say, and may you have understanding. Shalom.